I hadn't spoken to my parents in 2 years. Not a single call, not a message, not even on holidays. At first, it felt like freedom. No more judgment, no more expectations, no more pretending to be the perfect daughter they always wanted. But silence has a way of getting louder over time. It started small. I'd see a missed call notification and ignore it. Then birthdays passed, then Christmas, then nothing. Eventually they stopped trying, and somehow that hurt more than anything. 2 years ago, everything exploded. It was one argument, one stupid argument that turned into something irreversible. "You're throwing your life away," my mom yelled. "I'm finally living my life." I screamed back. My dad stood there, silent, like always. That was his thing, silence. He never took sides. He never defended me. He just watched. And that night, I packed my things. I remember my mom crying. I remember my dad not saying a word. And I remember slamming the door harder than I needed to, because deep down, I wanted them to stop me. But they didn't. Life moved on. I built my own routine, a small apartment, a decent job, new friends, new habits. And slowly, I convinced myself I didn't need them, that I was better off without them, that cutting them out was the right decision. Until one morning, everything changed. It was a regular Tuesday. I was halfway through my coffee when there was a knock on my door. Not unusual, but something felt off. When I opened it, there was no one there, just a package, plain, brown, no return address. My name written in neat, careful handwriting. I almost didn't open it. Something about it made my chest tighten, like my body already knew this wasn't just another delivery. Inside, there was a single envelope, thick, official looking, and stamped with a law firm's seal. My stomach dropped because I recognized the name immediately. It was my parents' lawyer. I hadn't heard from them in 2 years. And now suddenly, a legal document? My hands started shaking as I opened it, my mind racing with possibilities. Were they in trouble? Was something wrong? Were they trying to contact me through legal means? Or worse, had something happened to them? I pulled the papers out slowly, my heart pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. And then I started reading. At first, I didn't understand. The words felt heavy, formal, cold, like they were written for someone else. But then, one line caught my attention, and everything shifted. I read it again, slower this time, carefully, and then I laughed. Not a small laugh, not a polite. I burst out laughing, because what I was reading was so absurd, so unexpected, so completely insane that it didn't even feel real. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I realized I didn't know my parents at all. I kept laughing, even as my hands trembled, even as my chest felt tight. I couldn't stop, because the document in front of me made absolutely no sense. I read it again, then again, slower this time, carefully, trying to find the joke, but the words didn't change. They stayed the same, cold, formal. Unbelievable. It was a legal notice, signed, stamped, official. And according to it, my parents had been sending me money every single month. For the past 2 years, I froze. No, I whispered. That's not possible. Because I would have noticed, right? I mean, money doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Or does it? My mind started racing. I grabbed my phone immediately, opened my banking app, scrolled through my transaction history. At first, everything looked normal. salary, bills, groceries, rent. Then I saw it, a deposit, small, almost invisible, something I would normally ignore. And then another one, same amount, same date, every month for 2 years. My stomach dropped. How did I miss this? The amount wasn't huge, just enough to blend in, just enough to not raise suspicion. But when you add it all up, it was thousands of dollars. My heart started pounding. Why would they do this? We hadn't spoken. We weren't on good terms. We weren't even family anymore. At least, that's what I told myself. So, why were they sending me money? And more importantly, why didn't they tell me? I went back to the document, my eyes scanning every line now, searching for answers. That's when I noticed something strange. There was a condition, a very specific condition. The money wasn't a gift. It wasn't random. It was part of an agreement. And according to that agreement, I wasn't supposed to know about it. I felt a chill run down my spine. What kind of parents secretly send money and legally make sure their child doesn't find out? I kept reading. Faster now. Desperate. That's when I saw the next line. If the recipient becomes aware of the payments before the designated time, my breath caught. All transfers must immediately cease. I blinked. Wait. What? I read it again. If I find out the money stops, I let out a nervous laugh. Okay, this is weird. No, not weird. This was something else, something calculated, something planned, and suddenly that laughter I had earlier started to fade. Because this wasn't funny anymore. This was intentional. Every detail, every payment, every condition. It was like they were playing a game, and I had just broken the rules. My hands tightened around the paper. Why would they hide this from me? Why make it a secret? Why risk everything stopping the moment I found out? Unless there was a reason, a big one, something they didn't want me to question, something they didn't want me to look into. My chest felt heavy because suddenly this wasn't about money anymore. This was about something much deeper, something I had completely ignored for the past 2 years. My parents, the people I thought I knew, the people I thought I understood, the people I walked away from. What if I got everything wrong? I stared at the document again, this time not laughing, not confused, but scared. Because deep down, I knew this was only the beginning, and whatever came next was going to change everything. I thought I had already seen the worst of it. I was wrong. My eyes moved slowly down the page, scanning every line now like my life depended on it, because at this point, it felt like it did. That's when I saw it, a paragraph, smaller than the time. Rest, almost hidden between dense legal text, like it didn't want to be noticed. But I noticed it, and the moment I started reading, everything inside me went cold. This agreement shall remain in effect for a total duration of 24 months. Okay, that part made sense. 2 years. Exactly the time since I left. But then, or until the occurrence of a qualifying event. I frowned. A qualifying event? What does that even mean? My heart started beating faster because something about that phrase felt wrong, vague, too vague. I leaned closer, reading every word carefully now. The qualifying event includes, but is not limited to, the recipient initiating voluntary contact. I froze. Voluntary contact? So if I had called them, If I had texted them, this would have ended? Why? Why would my parents create a system that literally depended on me staying away from them? That didn't make sense. Unless they wanted distance. No, that couldn't be right. If they wanted distance, why send money at all? Nothing about this was adding up. I kept reading, my fingers gripping the edge of the paper, or the recipient gaining awareness of the financial transfers. I swallowed. So now that it's over. Just like that. 2 years of something gone. But then came the part that made my stomach drop. Upon termination of the agreement, a final disclosure shall be made to the recipient. My breath hitched. A final disclosure? What does that mean? I flipped the page. There was another sheet. How did I miss that before? My hands were shaking again as I picked it up. This one wasn't filled with legal jargon. It was simpler, shorter, more direct. And somehow, that made it even more terrifying. At the top, it said, "To be opened upon termination." I stared at it, my heart racing. This was it. This was the reason, the truth. Whatever my parents had been hiding for 2 years was inside this envelope. I hesitated. For a moment, I actually thought about not opening it, because as long as it stayed closed, everything was still uncertain. And uncertainty felt safer than the truth. But I knew I couldn't stop. Now. Not after everything I had already seen. Not after realizing that my parents had been quietly part of my life this entire time, even when I thought they weren't. I took a deep breath, and slowly, carefully, I opened it. Inside, there was a single letter, handwritten. Not typed, not printed, handwritten. My chest tightened instantly because I recognized the handwriting. It was my dad's. And that's when something inside me shifted. Because my dad never wrote letters. He barely even spoke. And now he had written something like this for me 2 years ago. My eyes blurred slightly as I unfolded the paper. I didn't know what I was about to read, but I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't going to be funny anymore. And for the first time since that laugh, I was afraid of what came next. My hands didn't feel steady anymore. I sat down, slowly, because suddenly, I didn't trust my legs to hold me. The letter felt heavier than it should have been, just one piece of paper, but somehow it carried 2 years of silence, 2 years of distance, 2 years of things left. Unsaid, I unfolded it carefully. For a second, I just stared at the handwriting, messy, uneven, not like something planned, more like something written in a moment when emotions couldn't be held back anymore. Then I started reading. Hey kid, I froze. My dad used to call me that. Not sweetheart, not honey, just kid. Simple, warm, familiar, and just like that, something in my chest cracked. I kept reading. I don't know if you'll ever read this. My throat tightened, and honestly, I hope you don't. I blinked. What? Why wouldn't he want me to read this? My eyes moved faster now. Because if you are reading this, it means one of two things. I held my breath. Either the time has passed, okay, or I'm no longer around to explain it myself. My heart dropped. No, 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 I shook my head instinctively. What does that mean? Was this just legal wording or something more? My fingers tightened around the page. I forced myself to keep going. I know you're angry. A tear slipped down before I could stop it. I know you think we chose control over you. Expectations over your happiness. My chest ached because that's exactly what I believed. That's exactly why I left. I wanted to stop you that night. I closed my eyes. I wanted to say something, anything, to make you stay. My breathing became uneven, but I didn't. Of course he didn't. That was always his way. Silence. I didn't stop you because your mother asked me not to. I froze. Wait, what? My mom? Why would she? I kept reading, my heart racing now. She told me that if we truly loved you, my fingers started shaking again. We had to let you go. Tears blurred my vision completely now. She said you needed to learn who you are without us deciding it for you. I couldn't breathe properly anymore because this wasn't the story I told myself. This wasn't the version I believed for 2 years. They knew I wouldn't handle the silence well. I whispered softly, "Yeah, you didn't." So we made a decision. That word again, decision. Everything about this felt planned, controlled, intentional. We agreed not to contact you. My chest tightened painfully. No calls, no messages, no showing up. That explained everything. Every missed birthday, every empty holiday. It wasn't neglect, it was a choice. And somehow that hurt even more. But we couldn't just let you struggle. I looked back at the document on the table, the money, so we found another way. A shaky breath escaped me. The monthly transfers were your mother's idea. Of course it was. She said if we couldn't be there for you, at least we could make sure you were okay. Tears rolled freely now, because suddenly, every small deposit, every unnoticed dollar felt like something else, like care, like love, like presence hidden inside absence. But there's something you don't know. My heart skipped a beat. And just like that, everything changed. Again. Because I knew this was where the real truth started. My eyes locked onto that line. But there's something you don't know. My breath felt shallow because somehow I already knew this was it. This was the part that would explain everything or destroy everything I thought I understood. My fingers tightened around the letter. I kept reading. The truth is, this wasn't just about giving you space. My heart skipped. Of course it wasn't. Nothing about this felt simple anymore. There was a reason we needed you to stay away. A cold chill ran through me. Needed? Not wanted. Needed. Why would my parents need me to stay away from them? What could possibly be so serious that they would cut themselves off from their own daughter? I swallowed hard and kept going. 2 years ago, right before that night, my chest tightened. Your mother was diagnosed. Everything inside me froze. Diagnosed? With what? My heart started pounding again, louder, faster, with a condition we didn't know how to explain to you. My hands started shaking uncontrollably. No, I whispered it without realizing. No, this can't be. I forced myself to read the next line. It was aggressive. My vision blurred instantly, and it was already too late by the time we found it. Tears dropped onto them. The paper. I couldn't stop them now, because suddenly, everything made sense. The silence, the distance, the decision. It wasn't rejection, it was protection. We knew what was coming. My chest felt like it was collapsing. We knew the treatments would be hard and the outcome was uncertain. I pressed my hand against my mouth, trying to hold back the sob building inside me. Your mother didn't want you to see her like that, and just like that, I broke because I could hear her voice in that sentence, strong, stubborn, always thinking about me before herself. She didn't want your last memories of her to be hospitals, pain, or fear. Tears streamed down my face now, uncontrollably. She wanted you to remember her the way she was that night. That night, the argument, the yelling, the moment I thought she pushed me away, she was actually letting me go. I disagreed. Of course he did. My dad. Always quiet, but never heartless. I told her we should tell you the truth. My breath caught again, but she made me promise not to. My fingers clenched tightly. She said, if you knew, you would stay. And she was right. Of course I would have stayed. I would have never left, not for anything. And she didn't want that. My whole body felt numb now. She wanted you to live your life, not pause it for hers. A quiet sob escaped me because that's exactly what I would have done, dropped everything, stayed by her side. But she didn't let me. She made me promise to let you go. That promise, it cost them 2 years of silence, 2 years of pretending I didn't exist, 2 years of watching me from a distance. And the money, I looked back at the deposits again. That was the only way we could still take care of you without breaking that promise. I couldn't even describe what I was feeling anymore. Guilt, pain, love, regret, all at once. But then the next line hit harder than everything before it. If you're reading this now, my heart stopped. It means she's gone. Everything inside me shattered because suddenly that laugh from earlier felt like the cruelest thing I've ever done. I don't remember when I dropped the letter. One moment, I was holding it. The next, it was on the floor. And I was crying. Not the quiet kind. Not the kind you can hide. This was different. This was the kind of crying that takes over your entire body. The kind that makes it hard to breathe. Because in just a few minutes, everything I believed for the past 2 years was gone. I thought they abandoned me, but they didn't. I thought they chose control over me, but they didn't. I thought they let me walk away because they didn't care enough to stop me. But the truth, they loved me so much. They let me go anyway. And now it was too late. She's gone. Those 2 words kept repeating in my head over and over again. She's gone. And I wasn't there. I wasn't there when she got sick. I wasn't there during the treatments. I wasn't there when things got worse. And worst of all, I wasn't there at the end. A sharp pain hit my chest. Because no matter how I tried to justify it, I couldn't escape one thing. I left. Yes, I didn't know the truth. Yes, they hid it from me. But still, I left. And now I had to live with that. My eyes slowly moved back to the letter still lying on the floor. Part of me didn't want to pick it up again, because reading it meant facing everything. But I knew I had to. I leaned down, hands still shaking, and picked it up again. My vision was blurry from tears, but I forced myself to continue. I don't expect you to understand this decision. My lips trembled. Honestly, I'm not sure I understand it myself. Of course he didn't. How could anyone, choosing to lose your child emotionally just to protect them from pain? That's not normal. That's not fair. But it was real, and they did it. For 2 years, I watched you from a distance. I froze. Watched me? What does that mean? My heart started racing again. I made sure you were okay. My breath hitched. I checked your apartment building more times than I can count. Tears welled up again instantly. I sat in my car across the street just to see your lights turn on at night. I covered my mouth. No way. All those nights when I thought I was alone, he was there. I wanted to knock on your door more times than I can admit. My chest felt like it was breaking all over again, but I couldn't because of the promise, because of her, because of love. I had to respect her wishes. That word again, respect. even when it hurt, even when it destroyed him. I don't know if I made the right choice. My tears fell silently. Now. But I kept my promise. Of course he did. He always did. Silent, but loyal. I just hope one day you can forgive us. I shook my head immediately. No, no. Forgive them? For what? For loving me too much? For protecting me? For sacrificing their last years with me? No. If anything, I needed them to forgive me. But one of them was already gone, and I would never get that chance. The weight of that realization, it crushed me. But then I saw one last paragraph at the very bottom of the letter. Short, simple, but somehow the most important part. My eyes slowly moved to the last part of the letter. It was shorter than everything else, just a few lines, but somehow it felt heavier than the entire page. If you're reading this, my heart tightened again. Then it means the agreement has ended. Of course it has. I found out I broke the rules. Everything stopped, including the money. But at this point, that didn't matter anymore. Nothing about money mattered anymore. Which means I held my breath. You have a choice now. A choice? My fingers gripped the paper tighter. What kind of choice? What could possibly come after all of this? My eyes moved to the next line. You can close this letter. I frowned slightly. And continue your life the way you've been living it. My chest felt heavy. Independent. Distant. Alone. The life I built without them. The life I thought I wanted. The life I convinced myself was enough. Or, I swallowed hard. You can come home. Everything inside me stopped. Home. That word hit differently now. Not a place. Not just a house. But something I walked away from. Something I lost. Something I thought I didn't need. Not because you owe us anything. Tears filled my eyes again. But because you still can. Still can. Which meant my heart started racing again. My dad, he was still there. Still waiting. Still hoping. Even after everything. Even after 2 years of silence. Even after losing her. He doesn't say it. I whispered softly. Of course he doesn't. But he needs you more than ever now. That was it. That was the moment everything became clear. This wasn't just about the past anymore. This wasn't just about regret. This was about now. About what I was going to do next. Because for the first time in 2 years, the silence was broken. And the decision was mine. I looked around my apartment, the same walls, the same furniture, the same life I built alone. And suddenly, it didn't feel the same anymore. It didn't feel complete. Because now I knew the truth. And once you know the truth, you can't go back to not knowing. I looked down at the letter one last time. My dad's handwriting. Shaky. Honest. Real. He didn't ask me to forgive him. He didn't demand anything. He just gave me a choice. And for the first time in 2 years, I didn't hesitate. I stood up. Not slowly. Not uncertain. This time, I knew exactly what I had to do. For 2 years, I told myself a story. A story where I was the one who walked away. Because I was strong. Because I was independent. Because I didn't need them. But now I knew the truth. I didn't walk away because I was strong. I walked away because I didn't understand. And they let me go because they loved me more than I ever realized. I grabbed my phone. My hands weren't shaking anymore. Not like before. This felt different. Clear. Certain. I scrolled through my contact, and there it was. Dad. I hadn't touched that name in 2 years. Not once. There were no recent calls, no messages, just silence. A long, heavy, painful silence. I stared at it for a moment because I knew the second I pressed that button, everything would change. The past, the present, the future, all of it. I took a deep breath and I called. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Each second felt longer than the last 2 years combined. And then he picked up. Hello. That voice, quiet, familiar, but different. He sounded older, tired, like those 2 years had aged him more than they should have. For a moment, I couldn't speak. All the words I had in my head disappeared. All that came out was a whisper. Dad? Silence. Then, a sharp breath on the other side. Like he stopped breathing for a second. Kid? And just like that, I broke again. Tears fell instantly. But this time, they felt different. Not just pain, but relief. I'm sorry. The words came out before I could stop them. I'm so sorry. I didn't even know where to start. Sorry for leaving. Sorry for not calling. Sorry for not being there. Sorry for everything. There was a pause. A long one. And for a second, I was afraid. Afraid I was too late. Afraid I broke something that couldn't be fixed. But then, his voice came back. Soft. Shaking. You came back. That was it. Not anger. Not blame. Just that. You came back. I closed my eyes. Tears streaming down my face. I should have come sooner. My voice cracked. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I know. He said it so quickly, so gently. I know, kid. And in that moment, everything inside me settled. Because he wasn't holding on to the past. He wasn't blaming me. He was just happy I was there. I'm coming home. The words felt right. For the first time in a long time. They felt real. There was silence again. But this time, it wasn't empty. It was full. Okay, just one word. But it meant everything. A few days later, I stood in front of the house. Nothing had changed. Same walls, same door, same memories. But everything felt different. Because now, I understood. I took a deep breath and knocked. A few seconds passed. Then the door opened, and there he was, my dad. He looked older, thinner, but his eyes were the same. And before I could say anything, he pulled me into a hug, tight, like he was afraid I might disappear again. And this time, I didn't pull away. Sometimes life doesn't give you a second chance, but sometimes it does. And when it does, you don't wait. You don't hesitate. You go back because love, even when it's quiet, even when it's hidden, it never really leaves.